This is the Goode Show. My name's Surinder and I'm a military spouse. I've been a military spouse for over 26 years and my guy served 30 years as a Navy SEAL and retired as a Command Master Chief. Now, I've heard a few stories and I've told a few stories and now I am sharing stories. Sit back, relax, grab a beer, grab a coffee and enjoy. Check us out on social media at The Goode Show. Welcome to this week's episode. My name's Surinder. I am your host, and this is The Goode Show. Now, this week, we're going to flip the script just a little bit, because normally I speak to military spouses about how we hold down the fort while our service members, male service members, are away. Well, today I have the pleasure of having Aaron, and I'm going to say your last name wrong, Hantman? Hantman, I was close. Welcome to the show, Aaron. Thank you for being on the show.
Yep.
Now, first of all, thank you for your service. You served for 20 years.
Yes.
And your beautiful lady is now on deployment.
She is on her way back. Yep.
On her way back. So while she's been on deployment, obviously you've been dealing with parenting, making all the big decisions. And you guys are making a really big decision now where you are selling your home and you guys will be moving out of San Diego onto another duty station.
Yep.
So while your lovely lady has been away, what decisions have you had to make about this home and where did you go to get your guidance?
Well, I would say the biggest thing is we've owned homes before. We're a little bit seasoned. So when it comes to that stuff about the home, like I'm pretty comfortable with all of that. There's a few things that are, some of the things that jump out to me are they might seem small, but I think like most couples, we tend to highly specialize. Like she's in charge of the kids' clothes and shoes.
Yes.
She's always just bought that stuff. And then all of a sudden at some point I'm like, oh, he needs new shoes. Crap. Like, how do I?
I know.
Just that level of stuff it's funny because it's like, no, that's her thing. And then I do the other things. I've always taken them for like, all their medical stuff. So that hasn't really been a difference.
But let me ask you though, you're both active duty. So,
Mhm.
and it's not often I actually get to interview, a couple where both partners are active duty.
Right.
Once you had children, we kind of like as husband and wife within ourselves, we define our own kind of roles,
Right.
like you, to your point.
Right.
So at what point did you feel that you had to become mom and dad?
So so it wasn't a cold start on this. She, we came out here originally in 2018 when she came out for her XO and CO tours. So I've done this kind of before. We have a couple times in the past. When I was still working, when she was going to be deployed for a long time, we've gotten au pairs.
Okay.
But this time I'm retired. I'm not getting a new job right away because we're going to be moving. And I was like, well, that would be silly to spend that money.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it has been interesting with it being like just me and them for a long period of time now. So, yeah.
Now, did you think that, okay, with you being essentially single parent, there must have been things that have come up where you've just thought, wow, I had no idea.
I don't know about no idea. I will say this is the first time I've ever actually had to, because we were dual mil in the military for 17 years before I retired. So I was a Lieutenant JG when we got married. So we were very lucky and successful in mostly just staying together geographically. Other than schools, we never had a big change like that. But I never executed the move orders on my orders. Like she's done it every time, and this time as a spouse, in addition, I've had to facilitate that. I had to go down to personal property because I don't have a cat card to create an account.
Oh, wow.
To do the move thing, and she can't do it with her limited bandwidth.
Yeah.
So, which is all. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but so far seems like it's progressing the way it's supposed to.
So the process for you in regards to getting orders, etc., has been relatively smooth.
Yeah, we'll see. There's been a lot of fear this summer about the move system, I'm sure you're aware of. So we were immediately, because of the non-cat card situation, not in the home goods part of that, if people have heard about that. But so far, I mean, we'll see if the movers show up when they say they're going to show up. Because I've heard stories of like,
Yeah.
oh, the Packers just didn't show. So
I've heard those same
we're
stories.
keeping our fingers crossed. But yeah, so because we're moving all the way to the East Coast, so it's a long move, and we've accumulated a lot of stuff over the years. So
Now, with this long move and the fact that Packers are coming, and you're going to have a home in San Diego that you are going to sell.
yes.
And what made you gravitate towards Compass Military in bringing them on board to help you with the say? You're laughing while
Because like Michael and I worked together
Okay.
for in my last job in the Navy for 2.5 years. And we talked a lot about, I do some real estate investment stuff as well. And so we talked a lot about real estate, and it just seemed like the easiest. And, they seem to have a great system. So I didn't think about it too much.
You're seasoned because you've purchased and sold homes before.
Yes. Yes.
Now, and it's only since I met Michael, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been a military spouse over 26 years.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't aware that it's almost good business to purchase the home wherever you move to, and then maybe
I think
you
that
can.
depends on your
Mhm.
situation, but in a lot of cases, I think people steer away from that and that's what they've been trying to do. I mean, I think like we're going to rent where
Yeah.
we're going right now because, they've given Robin this Twilight tour, and it's near where we want to settle, and we want the freedom, at least towards the end, when the right house comes on the market, that's going to be the house we're going to live, get old in. We don't want to be tied to another mortgage. We want the ability to just purchase that home. So there are situations when you're only going to be somewhere for a brief period of time. But if you think you're going to come, we've been here 7 years, the longest I've ever lived anywhere in my whole life.
Wow.
But it's been great. But yeah. I mean, it depends on your situation, but it's definitely something to look at and understand, like when you should do it and that kind of thing. So.
And it's crazy because I've owned a home. We purchased our home in San Diego in 2001.
Oh.
And we watched it being built. We've never moved. That's where it's been. That's where I have stayed,
Mhm.
with the children. And just purchasing that, there was so many things that were new to us as first-time home buyers that
Yeah.
we had no idea. And it's only since working with Compass Military that I've realized there's certain things that are out there for service members. Again, depending upon your financial situation, what you're doing, where you're going, that it makes sense to make an investment into property.
Right.
And I've spoken to some service member families that have, like yourself, they're leaving their house now for it to be sold as you're heading out east or wherever you're heading. What's the peace of mind like for you knowing that you've got a real estate company that's going to deal with this? Yes, it helps that you have a relationship with Michael Nyland.
Right.
But I'm sure he's told you stuff that you didn't know.
Yeah.
So again, as they've been, coming in and saying, are there certain things you've realized you should or shouldn't do?
In terms of,
Like when it comes to leaving, what will they look after? When you leave here and they're going to sell your house,
right.
what are they looking after? What if it floods tomorrow? What if
I guess we haven't talked about that in detail. I'm hoping they'll be out here enough to check on it. I have, he recommended a handyman that's going to come in and do some patching and painting, like after we leave.
Yeah.
And then the woman that's been cleaning our house for years is going to come in and do it top to bottom. And then we're going to leave it in their hands.
Well, see, now you have the reassurance
Right.
of leaving it with them and knowing that, nothing is going to happen that's crazy, but you've
Right.
left it in the trust of people that you can trust,
Yes.
and,
Absolutely.
and that's what I think speaks volumes about the way they treat their service members as well.
Mhm.
Now, so when do you time frame, a month, 2 months?
Oh,
you're gonna
no,
be
it's
here?
much sooner. So the
Oh, really?
movers are supposed to be here like the week of the 21st.
Oh, wow, this month?
This month.
Okay.
And then Robin actually has to go to a school near Chicago. I assume it's
Okay.
at Great Lakes. Not sure. So that Sunday, the 27th or something. So we're going to put her on an airplane, and then me and the boys are going to drive from here to Chicago.
Oh,
and
nice.
pick her, like we'll have some overlap days with
Yeah.
her, and then we're going to visit some family on our way to New England. So
Do you have animals? Do you have pets?
No, we had a cat who unfortunately passed a couple months ago, which was sad for
Yeah.
the boys. But in terms of the move logistics, it was like relatively good time.
I know. I've spoken.
She was older and we didn't realize it, but she had cancer and so
Yeah.
but so no, we don't have to deal with an animal in the move.
How many times have you moved during your military career?
I have to think. I have to literally walk through it.
Oh, wow. That must be
No, it's not that. It's actually not that high. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this will be 5.
5.
So yeah, and a couple of those were really early. So we've been here for 7 years. We were in Tampa for 3 years before that, and then we were in Norfolk, Hampton Roads area for 6 years before that.
Every place you lived, did you purchase a home? Or
No, we
rent?
rented in Tampa too,
Okay.
because we knew we weren't gonna like stay there. So yeah, but we had our house in Virginia, and then we rented that house out for 6 years after we moved out of it. Yeah.
See, I find a lot of service members do that now. They maybe purchase a home, 3 or 4 of them single guys together kind of thing.
Right.
And then as they move on to point B or whatever, they move somebody else in to cover that. And it ends up being like an investment kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I've definitely known people in the past who, as they basically acquired a single family home everywhere they went, it
Yeah.
became a rental property. I think what started to happen though with the costs of homes and the interest rates is because the house next to me was rented out. I don't know what they're charging now. I think they're turning it over like $5,000. And I'm like, oh
Yeah,
man,
that's
like,
crazy.
let me start to look at like the math. And I'm like, no, it still doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Even at, my super low interest rate I currently have on this house, it's like once you count property management in this large yard where you have to have some like a tenant's not going to take care of that, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, nope, I'm still selling the house.
I know, isn't it? Do you think there is a solution for our service members this day and age? I mean, I've heard people say, no, don't be, especially in San Diego, don't
Yeah.
raise the BAH because then it only goes to the landlord. That the way to help with the situation in San Diego with the cost of living is to increase COLA. Does that make sense to you?
I haven't thought about that too much. I mean, the thing about the BAH raising going to the landlord applies to military housing
Yeah.
folks, not to people who live out in town. Obviously, the cost of living here has been a problem, and even they the significant increase to BAH a couple years ago
Yeah.
was. But even with that, it's like the costs. I mean, I wouldn't want to buy this house. I mean, I shouldn't say this out loud.
No.
But like, if you just roll out a standard mortgage, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was crazy what I paid for this house when I bought it in 18, but the market here has just been, and it makes it hard for it to be a place where, especially, younger service members, single folks who, I mean, we're fortunate. I mean, we were both military officers, have all those, all the stuff that goes with that, but it's tough on a lot of folks
Yeah.
to find a place to live comfortably.
And I think that buying your first home is just can be an overwhelming, anxious experience.
Yeah.
I always look back when myself and my husband bought our first home, and it was less than 300,000. I will say that,
Right.
but that was such a huge amount of money for a young couple. And I was only working part-time.
Right.
So when I look at now, like my neighbor rents out the house for $6,000, and I think, what? Who's got $6,000 to pay on rent?
Yeah.
Well,
what tends to happen is you end up with, instead of it being a family, you end up with like 3 random adults sharing a house.
Yeah.
And I'd rather there be a family next door.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But even as a landlord, like
Mhm.
those random adults rotating through your house are going to have more wear and tear than even a family with kids is going
Yeah.
to have on your house.
No,
in general.
I agree with
So-
that. We had a plethora of young servicemen living with us prior to having kids. They were
Yeah.
there for the week or the
Right,
month or
right.
whatever. Then it was time, like, I'm pregnant, get out now. Charity is over with now.
Uh-huh.
But yes, I totally get what you mean. So first of all, let me say, after all the years of experience that you have in the military, I have to ask you, if there is somebody listening to this episode today and they're debating, okay, I think I'm going to go the military route, what advice would you give them?
Oh man. There's a lot of different directions to go with that. I would say, first of all, like, understand what you're signing up for.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people nowadays, there's families that have this long tradition of,
Yes.
parents and, neither my wife nor I have families with a considerable history. I mean, my grandfather fought in the Second World War, but
So why did you gravitate towards the military?
well, it was sort of that I was in sort of a transition point early in my life, and I joined in 2004, so there was that feel of wanting to contribute to what was going on, I think. So do something that mattered of significance. So I'd say that's the biggest thing. But sorry, trying to go back to where I was my brain was going on your original question there. There's a lot of different roles in the military.
Hey, we're live. Come on, say hello. We're recording.
You want to be on a podcast?
Come on, dude. Come and say hello. We got the camera going. See, this is what I love about going live. I mean, everything and anything can happen. And
He might not want to do this. It's okay if you don't want to, Sam. We're talking though about so this is Surinder. She does a podcast about like military families and military life and that kind of thing.
Well, you can sit there and listen if you want to.
Do you want to come say hi, or you had a question? Okay, you guys can eat. Do you need help cutting the pizza? Okay, thanks, bud.
Nice to meet you. I love that. See, if my kid had run out now, my kid had been like hugging the camera right in there.
Yeah, now if you got him here and got him talking, then he would talk your ear off. No, I'm just thinking about how much Robin's mind is going to be blown when she sees him, hopefully tomorrow, because he has grown and like matured so much. He's 11 and a half. He's like, but he's grown in height, but he's also like way more like, I'm like, you can't throw yourself at her when you see her. You will knock her over.
Do you remember when the shoe was on the other foot? Do you ever remember coming home and looking at your kids and thinking, oh my gosh, this kid's just sprouted, or this kid looks different?
Yeah. I mean, the tail end of my career, I didn't have a lot of time gone like this. So I didn't see that. The longer deployments I had were earlier in my career before we had those guys.
Were you present at birth?
Yes, both times. Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes. Yeah. Those are insane experiences. Childbirth is way more crazy than anything I ever did in the military.
He's a handsome little fellow.
Thank you.
Going back to my original question, we talked about service members signing on the dotted line. And you had mentioned, for them to know what they're getting into.
Right.
And most service members that I talked to today, and when I asked them, how did you gravitate towards this field? And yes, a lot of it does have to do with family, generations. Right. And everybody has said to me, the beautiful thing that everybody said to me is it's when you're serving something bigger than yourself.
For sure, yeah.
And I've always found that within the little military family, big military family that I've married to, that it truly is a family.
Right.
And I've met, there must be some relief for you, like when you have been on deployments in the past, that people have got your back kind of thing.
Right, yep, definitely.
Yeah, and I don't think you can find that to that extent in the civilian world. I know it's a hot summer day.
Yeah.
It's not hope it's going to be hot and sunny where you are going to be going, where you're moving to.
It will be hot in the summer, but it'll be cold in the winter. Yeah. So we're moving to New England. So we're
New England?
Yeah.
Kim, aren't you from New England? She's from.
You from?
Rhode Island.
Okay. So Robin's going to the ROTC at Holy Cross in Worcester. Yeah. And we've been to Rhode Island for obviously all the Navy stuff in Newport. So yeah. But I have a bunch of family that's in like New Hampshire and Northern Mass and stuff. So that's kind of our motivation, is we want to eventually be a lot closer to family. So.
Well, Aaron, I want to thank you for your time today, and I want to thank you for your service and your beautiful wife's service. I always think it's twice as hard when you're both in the military and you're both trying to navigate who's going where, and especially when you have children. But thank you so very much for your time today.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning into The Goode Show. I hope you have been inspired by today's conversation. If you loved what you heard, help us spread the word. Follow me on Instagram @The Goode Show. As military spouses, we all have stories to share, experiences, resources, and support. I want to hear your story and highlight your business. Let's connect, DM me, or visit surindergoode.com to share your journey. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and keep doing good things.